happy Juneteenth. Yay!
train is going. And we are ready to begin. And what a glorious afternoon it is for a glorious, glorious occasion. It is so heartwarming to see all of you out here today to help us celebrate this very, very special occasion. And you'll hear more about how special this is as we go along. But we wanted to open today's dedication program with something that is very special in the African American culture. And I think it's something we can all learn from. It is a spiritual ritual called libation. And you can go home and Google it. They're starting to use it in wedding ceremonies as well as other kinds of ceremonies. But basically, it is an honoring of our ancestors and a calling on them to guide us as we move through different kinds of activities, some that are good, some that are bad, and we need those ancestors. Reverend James McIntosh will be conducting the libation ceremony today, and he will be assisted by Joanne Brock. You can come forward, Reverend McIntosh. Reverend McIntosh is a native son of Orange County with some pretty wonderful stories to tell and very deep roots. Now, as he goes through the program, we will be reading names. Could the readers come forward, please? And you will be standing, well, you can stand there, but let's, Lois, and then, so it's Lois Goodall, Kira Monroe, you'll be right here, Deja Alexander, and next to Deja is Reverend Daryl Crump.
Yay!
Lois, where are you going? Oh, I was going to stay over here. You can, Daryl, you all can move off and let Lois stand right there. No, just move over.
Always make room for Lois.
Now, Lois, you need to be on this end because you're number one. We have this all organized. Okay, now, I want to tell you a little bit about the names. What we chose to do was to gather names of those ancestors that lived on Mill Street or lived on Church Street. We didn't get them all, of course. We'd be here all afternoon reading their names. So if you have an ancestor whose name is not read, there will be an opportunity for you to reflect on that person a little bit later. We used the 1940 census and came up with the names that you will hear today. And we're very happy to have our four readers, particularly our young ladies, to get the young people more involved in the importance of ancestors. Reverend McIntosh, I am now going to turn this over to you.
Okay. May I have the first reader, please?
Andrew and Julia Maples.
Lewis and Georgia Williams.
Annie Armstead.
Willis and Delphine Smith.
Margaret and Walter Webb. Haywood Johnson.
Henry and Mary Alexander.
Willis Ellis.
Isabel Jackson. Susie Long.
Rosa Williams.
Lulabelle Taylor.
Chester and Sylvia Terrell. Sadie Blake
Mary White.
Helen Robinson.
Reuben Cave. Robert Galloway.
Bessie Galloway.
We would like to now take a moment of silence and give you all an opportunity to reflect on your own ancestors and call them forward to be with us. Thank you. Thank our readers. Thank you, Reverend McIntosh. Did you want to say something?
This libation ceremony goes back to the African traditional religion. They would have libations for weddings, but definitely for funerals. Sometimes they would pour water, sometimes they would pour beer, sometimes it's milk. So it was never just limited to water. But a libation means the pouring out. Now, in the Christian tradition, the Apostle Paul talks about, I'm ready to be poured out. He's talking about a libation. That means giving up everything for the cause of Christ. But this goes back to remembering what our ancestors did back in the mother country. So it's even done today in the African American tradition for weddings. I haven't seen it done at a funeral, but I've seen it done at weddings and at the birth of a new baby. So this continues on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful way to start our dedication program today. So I want to move on to introducing our first speaker, and what a wonderful speaker he is. He is the new president of the African American Historical Society here in Orange County, Mr. James Bruce Monroe III.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. To all our friends and invited guests. It's an high honor to have been chosen to welcome you today on behalf of the Orange County African American Historical Society. We gather today to celebrate Juneteenth holiday, the liberation of our African ancestors here in the United States. We honor our ancestors and we celebrate them, and we aspire to tell their stories. Our theme this year is homecoming. The Orange County African American Historical Society thrives to enhance awareness of accomplishments and contributions of the African American community. Today, as we celebrate Juneteenth, we illuminate and reflect on the town of Orange's African American business and residential district. It has been a humbling experience over the past 2 years, collecting oral histories from residents past and present, and working with an outstanding team to make this project a reality. For more than 100 years, this was a segregated neighborhood of Black-owned businesses and Black families, 2 historic Black churches and schools. The Black family, the Black church, and education were central elements of post-emancipation African American life. All rose from more than 20 freedmen settlements within the county led to this area for their needed services. Many families would settle into this town and later migrate north for better jobs and opportunities, many accomplishing great things in their lives. never forgetting their roots here in Orange, returning home to overflowing crowds for homecoming at the Nazareth and Emmanuel Baptist Church's homecomings and reunions. Then there were those other families who stayed and made Orange their permanent homes. They owned and operated businesses, worked at our factories, farms, restaurants, schools, just to name a few. They were also consumers. They made this a welcoming community, and we all remember, and we are all grateful for that. This community remained vibrant until the late 1960s and early 70s, when the Route 15 bypass was routed through this community, dislocating many families. The dedication of this park today honors the contributions and sacrifices of these families and their contributions to the growth of the town of Orange, the county, and our nation. To all of you here today, we are so glad that you have taken the time out today to celebrate with us on this special day. And to all our sponsors and donors, thank you so much because you made this event possible. We hope that you enjoy your day, and we hope you have a blessed day. I am now going to turn it over to the project manager of this park, and I will give you a little background. Her name is Zan Nelson. She's originator and the original author of the Virginia Lynching Resolution, Senate Bill 297. She's a member of the Virginia Martin Luther King Commission's Subcommittee on Lynching. She's the Vice President of the Orange County African American Historical Society, the Acting President of the African American Heritage Alliance, the Culpeper chapter, and she's also an author of Alley's Law, an exoneration project, researcher, writing, advocate, and public speaker, and the president of History Quest. Her special projects, the African American Descendants Quest, and Write the Record. I present to you all our project manager of this park, Zan Nelson.
So I'm not on the agenda, so maybe I don't speak at all. It's just been an honor. It's been an honor and a privilege and a labor of love to work with the people who've been involved with creating what we are celebrating today. This was a vacant piece of land that the town agreed to lease to us, and we've made it a beautiful spot in this part of Orange. And after a little while, you're going to get to see these wonderful interpretive markers that we as a team have developed and researched and written, and it tells just a little bit about what went on here. And I'm not really well known for a lot of patience. But I'm working on it, and you know, I'm sitting here going, man, you know, this took us 2 years. But people have waited decades, generations. 2 years is nothing for me. And I'm just glad that finally those who have truly been patient and persevered have this piece of accomplishment that celebrates who they are, who their ancestors were, their creativity, their entrepreneurial talents, and their resilience. So anyway, I'm going to stop there because I wasn't on the agenda, but I do have 2 things before I introduce our next guest. Bruce talked about homecoming, and he talked about people who've moved away and have come back. And I want to sort of give a shout out to somebody that I met through a very dear friend several years ago who was born and raised in Orange, then moved away eventually to New York. I picked her up at the Culpeper train station last night. Now, I don't know if anybody else has come that far from New York City to Orange. You came from New Orleans, okay? But Marie Coleman, would you stand up and wave at everybody? I know you have a lot of friends here. And so I picked her up, and she's staying with friends for a week here so she can see all those that she's been missing because of the pandemic. Now, I have one other thing. I want to give another shout out to someone who was a great partner through the organization, the agency. We could not have brought this to fruition without Orange's Main Street program, which is called ODA Love Orange Virginia. I hope I got that right. Anyway, and their job is to do this kind of thing, to enhance economic development through the preservation of a community's history. I may not have that exactly what's in their bylaws, but in essence, that's what it is. And they are the ones who got us this grant. Actually, we got two large sources of funding, and then we had a lot of in-kind donations, but from the Virginia Main Street program, and she's going to speak on their behalf in a minute. I don't think it's any secret, we all know her, Charlotte Cole. She's behind me, probably fussing and making faces. But she went above and beyond the call of duty. She was organized, she was supportive, she encouraged us, she's a problem solver, and on behalf of the Orange County African American Historical Society, we would like to present you with just a tiny little token of our gratitude. Charlotte, thank you. Yay, Charlotte. Now, I told you that this land actually belongs to the town of Culpeper, and without I'm sorry. I knew I was going to do that sometime. I live in Culpeper, but anyway, the town of Orange. Martha, I'm really sorry. So I would like to call forward the mayor of the town of Orange, Martha Roby.
Good afternoon to our distinguished guest and to everyone listening who enjoys a special celebration, and particularly happy Father's Day to all the dads in the audience. Let's give them a hand. Not too long ago, this small parcel of land we're standing on today was an empty gravel square sitting on the edge of the railroad tracks. But today, through a true community effort, it has evolved into a beautiful mini park that brightens this corner of our town and provides a place for reflection of the African American history in the town of Orange. When this celebration day is done and you pause to remember, don't forget to include in those thoughts the importance of community. Every single person who came today, participated in the activities, planned the park, helped with financing, worked on the land use agreements, and brought this vision to life is part of this community. And you should take exceptional pride in what you have accomplished here today. It's wonderful. Community sense makes us stronger. In this case, it brought back an important part of the history of our town that now will be visually present every day for citizens and visitors to enjoy. The Town Council of Orange is happy to have this parklet as a new addition to our town. Now, if Bruce Monroe would join me at the podium, please. Bruce, I have a resolution to read to you for the African American Historical Society. Whereas the town recognizes the contributions the African American community has made to the prosperity of the town of Orange, and whereas those contributions have had economic and social benefits not only for the African American community, but for the town of Orange and all Virginians. And whereas the town of Orange recognizes the historical significance of this location as a focal point of the African American commercial and residential areas, and whereas the interpretive panels will provide a background for reflection and appreciation for the significance of the historical impacts, and now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Orange appreciates the importance of a place to reflect and celebrate the contributions of the African American community, and dedicates this plot of land for Memorial Park. And therefore, be it further resolved this 16th day of May 2022 that the Town Council of the Town of Orange commends the volunteers, community leaders, and residents involved in the creation of this park for their participation, and recognizes the Orange County African American Historical Society for their contributions to the town of Orange. Congratulations.
Thank you, Martha. You can come be mayor in Culpeper anytime you want. You can't hear? Okay, so can we turn one of those amplifiers around? Oh, she's gonna turn it up.
We can hear that.
They picked the one who doesn't know technology at all. Let's see if that works.
Okay, is that better? Hey! Problem-solving women.
Yay!
Now is it too loud? Okay. All right. Well, our next speaker is going to represent the Virginia Main Street program. And they were the ones who so kindly gave us a grant to develop this park. And our own Main Street director, Charlotte Cole, is going to represent the Virginia Main Street program.
So I have a big voice. Tell me if it's too big. Okay. All righty. Well, thank you, Zan. I appreciate the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, to this spectacular day. That's all we can say. Thank you for being here. I am representing both National Main Street Center, Virginia Main Street, and certainly our local Main Street program. And just because a bit of an aside, my Virginia Main Street folks would have been here, but they just completed hosting the national conference in Richmond, which was such a coup unto itself. They need a little bit of time to recuperate. So you got me instead. As I said, my name is Charlotte Cole, and I'm with the Orange Downtown Alliance, now known as Love Orange Virginia, but we will answer to either one. My organization manages the Main Street program here in Orange, and for those of you who are not familiar with us, the Main Street movement is the leading voice for preservation-based economic development and community revitalization across the country. We believe that everyone deserves access to a vibrant community, a place that has a thriving local economy, is rich in character, and features inviting public places that make residents and visitors alike feel that they belong. This park that we dedicate today is just such a place. Half a century ago, as others have already said, a thriving local economy of businesses owned and or operated by African Americans stood here and in the surrounding streets. And then it was gone, kind of sacrificed in the name of progress. About 2 years ago, as the COVID pandemic was beginning to take its toll on our economy, a small group of local folks got together to talk about the possibility of erecting interpretive panels that would provide additional context about the successful African American business community that once thrived here. As we talked, we decided to take a little walk around these streets. And when we came to this spot, a comment was made, "Gee, it would be a lovely location for a little park." And just like that, the idea was born. Since that time, the original members of the group, the town of Orange, the Orange County African American, I can speak louder than that horn, the Orange County African American Historical Society, the Orange County Office of Tourism, and my organization have worked with others, including the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development, the Virginia Main Street Program, the Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors, and Ferris Landscaping to bring this idea to reality. Can y'all hear me now? And here we are this Juneteenth, a day of celebration long awaited. So today we dedicate this revered space that commemorates the contributions of African American citizens, past, present, and future, who have made, are making, and will make to the town and to the county. From the Main Street perspective, we believe that Main Streets are for everyone. At the core of our approach to revitalization and economic vitality is a commitment to creating places that inspire shared prosperity, equal access to opportunity, and inclusive engagement. This park symbolizes that vision, and we thank you all so very much for being here to congratulate all those who worked on this project. Thank you.
I'm not going to ask our next speaker to compete with Norfolk Southern, so hopefully they'll be done in just a moment. Can anybody out there see the end of the train? Okay, well, our next speaker has declared that she's very loud, and I think if we can move this as close as possible. The acronym for these wonderful sponsors is FAR, Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors. And with us today is Paige Browning, the CEO of that organization. Paige, come on up.
I'll make sure I'm nice and close to this. I won't be long. As she said, I'm Paige Browning. I'm the CEO of Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors. And it is truly my pleasure to be here with you celebrating today, to see this many people come together, celebrating this space, this new space, and also the legacy of the African American community here in your town. I saw something on the news this morning. It was a feature of a family, and they were asked, what does Juneteenth mean to you? And they said, it's a reflection of the past, but also acknowledging where we are today. And I think that's a big point of, it made me think about what we were doing here today. So on behalf of our 2,000 members at FAR And I want to just thank you for letting us be a small part of this in partnership with the Orange County African American Historical Society and Love Orange. And we are thrilled to have been able to provide a small part of the funding for this. And also, I just want to say an acknowledgement, a great job putting this together. I was here on that cold winter day for the groundbreaking, and it's not easy to put these things together, and I understand that. And you guys did a great job working together in spite of shortages with everything we have going on with the supply chain. So great job. And again, thank you for allowing us to be here, and enjoy your afternoon.
Is there an end yet? It's slowing down. I mean, I don't know what that means. I have quite the privilege of introducing our next speaker. And as people say about a well-known person, they need no introduction. And she represents us in the 7th District in Congress in Washington, D.C. That's a big job. It's not just a prestigious job. It's an extremely heavy-laden job of responsibility. And I'm not involved in politics anymore. I was for a long, long time. So this is not a political statement. This is a leadership statement. She takes her role very, very seriously. She's very responsible. She's very attentive. Oh, and look, there's the end of the train. Her name is Abigail Spanberger. She pays attention, and for that we are extremely grateful, and we are very, very honored to have her with us on this incredibly special day.
Hello, everyone. Happy Juneteenth. And happy Father's Day to all of the fathers who are celebrating this beautiful day here in Orange. My name is Abigail Spanberger, and I am proud to represent this community in Congress. I am honored to be here today to help share in this moment and to make sure the past is not just remembered but kept alive as part of this amazing community's story. Thank you to the Orange County African American Historical Society for the invitation to help dedicate this park and celebrate the heritage and contributions of Orange's African American community. I'm excited for the ribbon cutting and unveiling, and I look forward to telling all of my colleagues in Congress about the incredible work happening here in the town of Orange. You all are setting the standard. I want to thank Mr. Nelson, Reverend McIntosh, Mr. Monroe, Mayor Roby, Ms. Browning for their words of hope, power, and celebration. And thank you to the Orange County High School Marching Jazz Band for sharing your amazing talents. Last year, I was proud to vote for a bill in Congress that officially made Juneteenth a federal holiday. It is exciting to know that Juneteenth is now observed across America, from Orange County, Virginia to Orange County, California. And it's exciting that as part of that, we are making sure that Americans across the country remember this important moment in our nation's history. And this holiday is about both remembering and looking forward. As we look forward, we need to look across our communities and understand the challenges we face together. And in Congress, I remain focused on working on issues of healthcare access, equity, and civil rights. These are issues that are faced by every community across our Commonwealth, and we still have a long way to go, including when it comes to protecting the right to vote. On Juneteenth, we celebrate the moment when enslaved men and women learned of their freedom in Texas. And in that moment, they learned that they were closer to achieving the same rights as other Americans, and eventually that path would lead to the right to vote. And in Congress, I am proud to stand up against efforts to take away the right to vote from our fellow Americans, a right that was earned. Through generations of struggle, determination, and eventual triumph. And that right to vote is the bedrock of our democracy. Both in this Congress and in the previous Congress, I have co-sponsored and voted to pass the Voting Rights Advancement Act, named after the late John Lewis. And before he passed away, Congressman Lewis was on a call with a number of colleagues, and I was there, and people were talking about all the work ahead of us. This was in the height of the pandemic. And Congressman Lewis said, "Don't get weary, just keep working." And I'll never forget those words that he spoke, because he was a giant among men. He was an example of leadership for everyone. And I'm grateful to have served alongside of him. And I'm grateful that right here in Orange County, we see the work continuing. We see an effort to remember the community, the history, the hardship, the challenges, the vibrancy of Orange County and all of its citizens, and the effort to move forward on a path towards progress, and understanding and celebrating all who came before us as we make a stronger, brighter path for all who will come after us. The pride of this community is evident on this day. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few comments with you. I look forward to the rest of the celebration as we celebrate all the things that we achieved together. But today in Orange County, may the lives, the stories, and the legacies of the Orange County residents remembered through this park motivate and inspire the next generation of Virginians, the Virginians who will change our society and our world for the better. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Little thank you.
Can I open it? I won't drop it.
A lot of paper, that's all it is.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Isn't that special? Came from the Art Center.
Celebrating Orange.
Okay, well, we're getting to the special ribbon cutting, and I'm going to give you some instructions in a minute. I don't want you to go away and think that this was a walk in the park. No pun intended. This kind of accomplishment is long overdue. And it's something, if you look in your programs, in the inside cover, there's an ad for a program called Write the Record, which a lot of us have been doing for many years, including myself, but I never called it anything. So I gave it a title a couple years ago, and this, if you wonder about Write the Record, this is the perfect example of writing the record. We are raising the awareness. We are celebrating histories that have long been denied. We are creating this wonderful little space for reflection, and we hope to do some little programs here, like storytelling programs or musical programs, to bring people down to this area. So it takes a lot of work, and there's 3 basic principles I want you to go home with about how this comes to fruition. And I love alliteration, so they're all P's. Privilege, partnerships, and perseverance. Now, privilege, to me, privilege is an unearned asset. An unearned asset. Many people don't understand about privilege. I'm privileged because I was born with lighter skin. I'm not as privileged as my brothers because they were born as males. Okay? And then there's the privilege of health and the privilege of wealth. And it goes on and on. So you think about it. Did you earn those things, or did you simply were born into them? And the idea is, we're not fussing at anybody that's privileged, but you need to take that privilege and use it. And use it to help those who didn't have that privilege to step up. Partnerships. This park, the signs, this day could not have happened without partnerships. Partnerships with the town, partnerships with the Main Street program, partnerships with tourism. The list goes on and on and on. And that's what makes the community that Martha was talking about, is partnerships. The last P is perseverance. And in all my work, fleshing out and writing about African American history, it's the one big takeaway for me, is that as a people, the resilience and the perseverance is awesome. And it's that perseverance that overcomes those of us who don't have a lot of patience. You stay at it. So you got a roadblock here, you find a way around it. You do some problem solving. You get creative. So remember those things. Now, before we get into the singing, I want to give you some instructions about our ribbon cutting. I'm going to ask everyone here to get out of the park. Well, typically when you do a ribbon cutting, you're standing outside and you cut the ribbon, you go inside. We're already inside, but we're going to go through the process. So find your way out to this area over here. No, don't go yet. Don't go yet. Sorry. That's after we sing Lift Every Voice. And that comes next. And right after that, we're going to gather out in the street, and I'm going to talk to those that are in the lineup for the ribbon cutting. And those of you with cameras, it's going to be right over here. I was told I need to tell you there will be benches in this park. Supply chain people said, sorry, we couldn't get them there by this day. We have 2 benches, one here and one over there that have backs. We have a backless bench right here. We have a bicycle rack and a trash can. Okay, so I'm sure there are other things I probably should share with you, but I'd like to call forward Pastor Joseph Moore. He is going to lead us in singing Lift Every Voice. You will find the words in the back of your program, in the inside back cover. Okay? It's a beautiful song. We should all stand to sing it. The mic is yours.
Okay.
You're going to be fine right there.
You are fine.
If you want to hold hands, that's okay too. No.
Amen. Sometimes you can walk into situations, you know that? But I praise the Lord today for this opportunity to be here in this celebration. And you'll hear from our men's chorus here later today. I'm going to bring you greetings from the Shady Grove Baptist Church here in the county. And funny thing that in 1989, I was right here at this church called Nazareth Baptist Church. But it truly is a blessing to be here in this county to see the movement and various improvements, and especially to bring lives together. There was a songwriter by the name of James Weldon Johnson who took the time, and for whatever inspiration, he decided that he would come up with some words that were designed to be called the Negro National Anthem. And I try to remind our people of our church that of all people, I don't know too many people as a race that have a national anthem. So we ought to be proud of this. But nevertheless, it is kind of a difficult song to sing. But if you don't pitch it right, you're going to have some trouble later on. I don't call myself a singer, but I'll try to get you started, okay? Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song, hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stormy the road we trod, glitter and chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that the tears have been tortured. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might lead us into thy light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, we have met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk in the wine and the world, forget thee. Sheltered beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Let's give a hand clap of joy. Amen, amen. We thank the Lord for this day. God bless you.
Okay, now you can leave the park. Okay, Martha and Bruce right here, but let's wait for the Congresswoman. And she's speaking to Ms. Ware. Yeah, she is. Paige, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm just putting this.
I'll take it.
I want to put, let's have the comments from the
No, it's hard to.
coming back with you.
Now, it's not only the ribbon cutting, all the cloths are coming off the interpretive sign. Are you ready? Are all the cameras ready? Okay, go. Ready? And you can shake it up, drop your supply.
Exactly.
And then,
I think my husband loves you. I love that.